Welcome, everybody, to Make It Make Sense. I'm your host, Monique Pressley, and I am so thankful to be with you here today. Thankful that we have an opportunity in our new live location to be talking about all the same things that we talked about when we were on IG Live, things that are critical, things that are necessary, areas you need clarity, areas you may have confusion. We want to bring the facts, bring the data, bring the information to you right here daily, noon Eastern, except on YouTube, joining us here on the Monique Pressley channel. I am so excited to be making this official transition, and I really couldn't think of a better way. With everything that's going on in the earth, I couldn't think of a better way than with my first guest, the Queen, Reecie with the Receipts, my dear friend, Reecie Colbert.
Hey, Monique, welcome to YouTube.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. You know, it's weird because I've been here. I'm trying to make sure I'm leveling up with you. I'm gonna adjust myself just so we be together. Um, it's weird because I've been here and we've
hmm
been talking about this official, like ever since Make It Make Sense first started, which is now 3 years ago. Can you believe that? We were going through all of this arduous stuff to share over on YouTube, and it was always kind of my ambition to not be doing the double steps,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I just kind of went with what was easiest. We were coming out of a pandemic. I'm like, I'm gonna give the people something I can just get on and give to them. But every round goes higher and higher. What you been up to, girly?
Claire and I always joke, scratching and surviving. That's what I've been up to. But everything is good. Everything is good over here. Just hustling and grinding and trying to make it in Trump's America chair. That's what I've been up to. What about you, Miss Thang? Boss lady on the Don Lemon Show channel. And you got Make It Make Sense, Monique Presley, just giving all the things.
Right. Well, you're the one with every other media job. So I'm just trying to get, I'm just trying to take whatever the hell you left for us, Reese.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, okay, does Reese already have that job? Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. Thank you. There's opportunity in volatility. And
hmm
as serious as things are right now, as serious as circumstances are, what I find is that for people who are called to this work, who have been doing the work, we were in a different state of readiness for what are just, I mean, we're about to talk about all of the stuff and all of the stuff,
hmm
but that being said, there were those of us, and I know you certainly were one of them, who knew that this was coming, knew exactly what this would be like. None of this was oops, uh-oh, or surprise. And so I have found that I am just very, very busy
hmm
and very mission oriented, but also very intentional about making sure that I am taking the time I need to keep my mental right, to keep my
Yeah.
body right, to keep my heart
hmm
space right. So when I'm getting that in where it fits in too.
You got in. I know that's right. And you are so intentional and you're in all the spaces, things that people don't even see. And you have such a great attitude. I can be a little cynical sometimes. I can give people the side eye real quick. And you be right there and you do not have that same energy that I do. I'll be like, okay, maybe I'm the butthole. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the toxic one because leave it to Monique. Monique is not gonna match that energy at all. And I love that about you. I absolutely love that about you. So if you want somebody, so if you in a space where you like, don't go to Monique. She's not gonna co-sign it. Okay. Come to me. I'll be the one to be like, yeah, girl. But Monique is does not get and the work that you do is so powerful and so important. And to still have that level of like glasses half full, make lemonade out of lemons, I think is really, really admirable.
Well, here's the thing. I said like maybe long ago when we first met, and it's still true. You say things that I want to say in 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 my, my demon bunny head.
Yeah.
You say those things, and no, that's wrong. It's my other angel.
I was gonna say,
um
dang, demon is a little harsh, but I mean, I know what you was trying to say. I know you.
no, that's not the way I meant that. But I mean in that, like, I think that it takes you utilizing your freedom of platform and space and voice to, for real, hit it head on and call a thing in one way, and me use it and call a thing in another way, which
Mm-hmm.
you and I always talk about. But I think for me, it's mostly just my training from always being in very difficult circumstances. Like, people come to me in
Right.
the worst of it, and so
Yeah.
it's always been my job to, yes, fight, but
Mm-hmm.
also to keep everybody on the we can win.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to keep going, because here is just not where we can stay.
Right.
Like,
Right. Right. Yeah.
we can't it ain't shit here for us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But to die here, and sometimes it's clients that have lost, family members, and there's
Mm.
no right words for that. But we do still have to do strategy, still do cases, still do marching, still do legislating. Like, all the things
Mm-hmm.
have to keep happening when people are in grief. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's people like, and I'm unfortunately the one that knows where all the freaking bodies are buried. And
Mm-hmm.
so you know, I don't let myself think about all the things I know that I'll never talk about.
Yeah.
But that also is grounding
Yes.
in
Yes.
in that it's like, okay, I can hear it and not hear it. And
Mm-hmm.
and what we
Mm.
and what we doing now? Don't
Right.
do that no more. Don't do that no
Yeah.
more. Don't do that again. Okay, now how are we moving on? No, that was not the right thing. And when I talked to you 6 months ago, it wasn't the right thing when you asked me if it was going to be the right thing. But here we are. So let's just move forward. So, speaking of moving forward, Reecie, I'm gonna tell you, I did the thumbnail for our session today myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I called it get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
And the reason I did that is because I am hearing so much stuff from people who are out there protesting. Well,
Mm-hmm.
no, here's what I should say: from people who spend their lives commenting on the people who are doing things, but
Mm.
maybe aren't ever doing things,
Mm.
observing the absence of Blackness on the streets,
Okay.
and
Mm.
writing all of these like opinion pieces about how Black people are still resting and shouldn't be, Black people don't care and should, Black people don't believe protesting is a good way to organize and to do civil rights anymore. They're saying all these things,
Yeah.
and I think they're missing it mostly. What's your
Okay.
thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, how dare you? How dare you comment on the how much melanin is in the crowd? How dare you expect our labor, expect our bodies on the front lines when
I lost you, Reese. You froze on my side. Is it me, George? I'm still here. I'm trying to figure out where everybody else is. We
I
lost Reese
know, let
for a
me
second.
see. Okay. Oh, I'm
Are you
back.
back?
Okay, I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything. So we
That's okay. That's
okay.
okay. You looking a little blurrier now, but you're still with us. So I'm glad. So you were
Okay.
at how dare we?
Yeah, how dare
How dare they? Yep.
people remark on the lack of presence of Black bodies in these spaces when they had the chance to put a Black body in the Oval Office and they rejected it over a felon who promised chaos, cruelty, and havoc for our entire country and our world. And then you want to turn around and be like, well, where y'all at? Well, where was y'all at in November? That was when the assignment was for everybody to show up and not have us constantly be the ones to have to fix the shit after the fact.
Yep.
So I think it's the audacity for people to even comment on that when everybody had the same opportunity that we had to show up in the ballot box in November, and millions of people stayed home rather than vote for the Black woman, And so don't look for us. I'm not saying that we don't have a vested interest ourselves in being out there. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be out there. Many of us are, even though it ain't maybe in the same numbers that it used to be, which I don't blame people. But don't always expect us to be the mules, because if you can't be the leaders, if we can't hold the highest offices, then don't expect us to be out there tilling the fields, laboring on behalf of the shit that you had the opportunity to prevent. And now you want us to come out here and fix it on our with our blood, our sweat, and our tears. Uh-uh.
And I just want to say, I agree with everything you said, but I just want to say hi, Ethan. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Inferno 932. Hi there. See you later, Wanderlust. I see them clapping and agreeing with you. So I just want to shout them out for joining us kind of on our maiden voyage today. Reecie, obviously you're right. How dare they?
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like I just think a lot of assumptions are being made
Right. Right. Right.
because for you and as Ben Crump will tell you, I would tell him all the time, I love a good protest. Like
Yeah.
I, I, I love a good protest. He'll be like, Monique, you coming? I'm like, yep.
Hmm.
Because it has always been important to me for people to know, no, you don't just see me talking on some television screen. You don't just see me, in the halls of Congress or in some courtroom. I'm boots on the ground when
Right.
it's time to be. I am hand to hand, heart to heart with my people in
Hmm.
the fight and in the struggle. So it has been important for me to show up in those ways. But
Hmm.
when you don't see me, you'd be wrong to assume that that means I'm not working or that I'm asleep or that I'm on vacation or that I don't give a damn. None of those things are true. You really
Right.
should be more worried about me when I'm quiet and I'm not in certain spaces. That's
I
when
know
you
that's
should
right.
you should be like, what's she doing now? Because she's not moving the way we expect her to move. And I think that's Black people in general right
Right.
now
Oh
are
yeah.
like, well, we've done frontline movements and so many other people have benefited from it. And now,
Hmm.
because y'all didn't go vote, everything that we fought for, we're watching be torn down, not just
Hmm.
for us, but for you too, brown person, for
Yeah.
you too, white woman, for,
Yeah.
for you too, Asian Pacific, for you too, LGBTQIA. All of us are getting our rights snatched and eradicated right now. And we should not be the only people that are upset about it.
Right. Absolutely. And it certainly isn't incumbent upon us alone to lead the charge. A lot of times, and I fight with my callers on my shows, the Reecie Colbert show, if you don't know, on Sirius XM Urban View, I fight with people because they're like, why should we care? Why should we be
Right.
involved? And
Right.
I fight with them because I do try to, impress upon everybody who listens that regardless of the form of protest or resistance that it takes, this is still our fight. Because even if we're not directly impacted in this one particular circumstance that you want to look at, in this one news story that we're talking about, shit rolls downhill, okay? Or it goes through us like a bulldozer. And so we still very much have a stake in the fight. But I can also understand why people are tired, why people feel like we've been here before, why people feel like, well, those people over there are getting it harder than us, and yet they're not galvanizing in the way that when we had the racial reckoning and when we came out there in full force and we took a stand on these things. And I feel like what we're witnessing is probably equally, if not more, dire, and you don't see the same galvanization from other groups.
Yeah.
Even if we look back, I remember Trump 1.0, remember with the Muslim ban. People were out on the streets, people were going to airports and things like that. With the child separation policy, there were times where other groups were much more galvanized. And to be fair, they're a lot more under assault. Um,
Yep.
I said citizenship was on the ballot, and we're seeing why our citizenship is being stripped in front of our eyes because people didn't vote. But I can see why a lot of Black people are watching this and saying, wait a minute, y'all need to get out there first. We need to see that y'all care as much about this. Like y'all are willing to put something on the line as much as we put on the line over and over and over again, whether anybody was there beside us or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, I took a beat after Vice President Harris was not declared the winner of that election. And
Mm-hmm.
then for me, for the space that I live in, I had to get back to work.
Yeah.
Right. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the luxury of, okay, I'm going to sip my tea. So that was never an option for me, but I understood why people absolutely needed that. And everybody doesn't serve in the same way or have the same type of responsibility. So they don't have
Yeah.
to make the same decisions. And I've been telling people over and over again, one of the best ways that you can be about your business of being a part of the resistance right now is to take care of your four walls and then
Mm-hmm.
expand to your neighborhood
Mm-hmm.
and then your community, your city. Like, work your way out, make sure you got everything locked in for you
Yeah. Oh
first,
yeah. Well,
because
absolutely. Yeah.
all of this is, I mean, whether we're talking about social security, whether we're talking about education, it doesn't matter the subject.
Mm-hmm.
The racism is running through it. So the one
Mm.
thing that I do correct people on is when they come in my comments saying this is white people's fight, child, this is those other poor people's fight, child, this ain't got nothing to do with us. I'm like, no, that's where you lying or you
Yeah,
dumb,
exactly.
because it has everything to do with us. What you do about it is your business. I try to advocate as best as possible, but I don't let people live in that level of ignorance where they fool themselves into thinking that we aren't the front line of attack, which that's going to be my last topic. I told you, the racism is everywhere, Reecie.
Yeah, it is.
And people are like calling it different things depending on how it shows up, but it's all Project 25, and the goal of all of it is to return us to second class citizen,
Mm-hmm.
and to strip us of all of our rights. And I see it over and over and over again. What's the word on the street? What are you hearing?
Well, I absolutely feel like racism is always going to be at the top because if you make racism, and I believe it's the pretext, to be honest with you, I think it's a feature, um, it's a plus. I don't think that it's the entire point. I think that it's the thing that they use to get people desensitized to it. And to be fair, racism doesn't just desensitize white people; it also, to some degree, desensitizes black people because black people
Yes.
feel like, well, this country always been racist. What's new? This ain't nothing new. We ain't already been there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And so you kind of get people to be like, who cares? We're gonna figure it out regardless when it comes to racism. But that racism is the
Right.
big
Keep talking,
shiny.
Reese. I'm listening. I'm making sure my battery don't die.
Okay, the racism is that big shiny object that gets people to feel like this is not anything new, but this is very much something new. What we're seeing is a complete wholesale attack on our citizenship. That's regardless of race. We're seeing people of every background, unless you're a white, straight male, heterosexual male, your citizenship is on the line right now.
Right, heterosexual, straight male with means, as far as I'm concerned.
That as well, that's a very important addition to it. You have to have some coin, okay? Outside of that, you're under assault. Your citizenship is under assault. Your basic rights are under assault. What this administration is showing is that everybody is on the chopping block except for millionaires and billionaires, okay? And so that's what's different about this is the fact that the carnage is going to be is not going to be, it's already so widespread. Like back in, let's say, the civil rights movement, they at least tried to enlist some allies. Okay, we'll screw over these people so that you can benefit. What they're promising is that everybody's going to be screwed. The tariffs, all the stuff that's happening, what they're doing around the healthcare system, what they're doing around reversing, fighting climate change. We still got to live on this planet if it's going to be around for another couple generations. Everybody's on the chopping block here. But to your original point, it's the racism. As long as that racism is in there, as long as that homophobia, especially transphobia, like transphobia took it up a notch. Like homophobia is like, that's not good enough. Now we have to convince you that your kids gonna be getting sex changes in elementary schools or prisoners. Now that's the real. They're like, oh, we really struck gold with this one. As long as
And the
that's
thing about that, Reese, if you can dig in there for a second, the thing that I don't know if people even know how much they've been manipulated in that
mm-hmm.
messaging, like
Yeah.
for the small. So first of all, the gay population in this country is already a super small percentage. But
Mm-hmm.
then when you bring it down to the trans population, I mean, out of the millions of people, it's practically like five on your hand, and
Right.
they did this whole thing for trans people in college sports, and you had
Mm-hmm.
all of these big Christian leaders and everybody speaking against that and turning it into something supposedly, but really they were used to draw people to vote against their own interests,
Yeah.
because people who made that their single item as if they were making some sort of moral vote, they've been played.
Absolutely. They've been played because gender affirming care, for instance, it actually increased under Donald Trump, which is good. Why wouldn't? What's the problem with people having uh be feeling good in their own skin? What's the problem with that? A gender affirming care doesn't mean that your genitals are being changed. It means maybe you got a boob job, maybe you got a nose job. Last I checked, everybody got puffy face, everybody got fillers, Botox, and all kind of stuff. Now the people don't need a whole facelift. They just like shoot me up, Scotty. That's gender affirming care. Okay, if you're not against that, then you shouldn't be against trans people. But the whole point is that it's not to have a debate because first of all, I don't think that the humanity of trans people is even up for discussion. If you have a problem with the existence of trans people, there's something wrong with you, and we can't fix that on this call. But what we can fix is the fact that you need to recognize that your humanity should not be something you're willing to sacrifice just to stick it to somebody else. I think we should at least be able to agree on that part. I don't care how much I don't like a KKK member or a neo-Nazi or whoever. I'm not sacrificing my existence for them.
Right.
I'm just not willing to go there. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like what we're seeing is we're seeing all of these shiny objects being put in front of people so that they're missing what's really happening. And they're missing the fact that they're buying into these really heinous things like immigration. Immigration is still the most popular policy of Donald Trump, even though he's in the Oval Office and he has repeatedly over the past couple of months said that he will deport American citizens. And I don't even think deporting is the right word for it. I would
No.
say he's holding he's saying he will hold American citizens in captivity in another country.
I mean, and he just discussed it with the El Salvadoran president
Yeah.
a couple of days ago,
Hmm.
like in the White House.
And this is a person, Monique, who pulled out a full page ad calling for the death penalty of Black teenage boys for a crime they didn't commit, and to this day refuses to acknowledge that he was wrong. This is the person who started his campaign saying they're in 2016 saying they're bringing drugs, they're rapists. This is a person who said in this last campaign they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. This is a person that thinks that if you're not a white person in this country, you're poisoning the blood. And so why anybody would hear what he's doing around this immigration and feel comforted or feel like this is the what we need to do when he's coming for your ass too. He's saying
Absolutely.
this.
Absolutely. And here's the piece, to me, this is the other shoe that is already dropped. And I think people really don't want to see it for what it is. If you're one of those people who held your nose about all of those horrible things about this man that Reese just said,
Mm-hmm.
because you were trying to vote your pocketbook, you were trying to vote your wallet, you were trying to vote your eggs, you were trying to vote your rent payment, you were trying to vote your need a job, you see now, right, that he was not the man with a plan for you. He has sent what was the envy of the world in terms of
Yes.
economy. He
Mm-hmm.
has sent it into chaos and tailspin, and everything that you thought you were going to get, you're not. Like, it's very clear they don't have one clue what they're doing.
Well, not only that, and I'm glad you brought that up because I love the opportunity to talk a little bit economics because what we're seeing is we're seeing a reordering of the world order. Now, we're still, to be fair, we have the largest economy, we're the wealthiest nation, we have the largest military. So it's not that it's going to happen overnight. But what we're seeing is, and it started actually in Trump 1.0, and Biden and Harris came in, and Kamala Harris met with hundreds of world leaders, foreign leaders that hardly got any attention. But what
Right.
we're seeing is that the world is realizing that we, including Trump, but not just limited to Trump, because we're the ones who voted his ass in again, that we cannot be trusted to
Right.
lead the world. And so what we're seeing in terms of what's
You
happening
talking to me?
with the dollar, with the US dollar, what we're seeing what's happening in terms of the bond market and the inverse relationship that we're seeing between the stock market going down. Normally the bond market would go up because it's normally viewed as a more stable investment. It's going down.
And
So
that's the real alarm. Like
that's what
more,
really did it. That's what
yeah.
it wasn't that people was calling up Trump kissing his butt. It was because people got shook. Mind you, there was a little billionaire and billionaire war happening a couple weeks ago because Bill Ackman, who's abhorrent as a person,
Yes.
he's one of the people that make his money in the markets, and
Yeah.
the Treasury Secretary is the person who makes his money in bonds. And so he was saying, well, of course, he doesn't care about the stock market going up and down because his money is in bonds. Well, wouldn't you know it? When the bonds started going down, all of a sudden, abort mission. We got to do something about these tariffs. Let's suspend them for 90 days or whatever. All this is market manipulation, by the way. But my whole
Yeah.
point is that even though the media reports this as, oh, okay, no harm, no foul. Oh, the market is back up. Oh, this is back up. Oh, okay, well, we've gained this back. And oh, he made this announcement and all is well that ends well. That's not what's happening. This is long-term damage that's being done because it hurts the credibility. It makes our economic policy seem erratic. It makes our world policy, foreign policy seem erratic. And when that happens, then it's no longer cheap for us to borrow to have deficit spending, which is what we've been doing for many years. Okay. And what is going to be even more of with this multi-trillion dollar tax deficit that Trump and the Republicans are poised to pass at our expense. And so I say all this to say is that the media is going to score this on a day-by-day basis. It's important that we, as also media, but not the mainstream per se, explain to you that this is not a day-by-day thing. This is something that's going to have incredibly long-term detrimental consequences for us as a society and us as a country.
Well, Reecie, I saw you talking about tariffs on Dawn's show, and I'm so thankful that you took the time to explain some of that to us here, because what I think is that, like many other issues, including foreign affairs, sometimes we can feel like something doesn't matter to us just simply because we don't understand it.
Yeah,
And people like you who can be an MBA and have an econ degree and still be Reecie for us, our sis with
yeah,
the receipts. We need that because you're able to break it down in ways that we can understand it, and then form our opinions on it. That's what I
right.
keep saying to people. I'm like, listen, hear me out first. Now,
There you go.
if you still, if listen, if you heard me out, I gave it my best shot. I explained to you what the stakes are. I gave you the woo 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 of it, and you still like, I don't care nothing about that. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I did my I did what I can do. But Monique, here is the thing. Going back to the original part about protest, how you protest, how you resist or not is up to you. But one thing I will not accept or tolerate or be a part of or encourage in any way is being uninformed, of checking out, of understanding the implications. If you, to your point, Monique, hear us out and you like, okay, well, whatever. That's we can't do nothing about that. But it is really incumbent upon us to be very much informed and on top of what things are happening, because we need to understand, for instance, what's happening around immigration, what's happening around the SAVE Act, another thing where, it has additional citizenship requirements and you have to have more traceability as opposed to from your birth certificate or your passport. If you have a passport, not everybody has those. So
Especially our people, lots of our people don't.
yeah. And it's
And they're
not.
expensive to get. Like
Yes.
that's not on the list of things to go by. And the real ID requirement is coming up any day now. I mean,
Yeah, in
people
May.
really,
Hmm.
that people have to get on that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. These have very real implications, stuff that you just didn't really think about too much. That shit's gone. That ship has sailed. And so whether or not you think everything is falling, the sky is falling, I'm not saying anybody has to have that attitude, but it is very incumbent upon everybody to be informed and not misinformed, not
Right.
disinformed, but actually informed. And that's what you, Monique, are here for. That's what I'm here for. That's what so many of our acquaintances, I'm not using the right word, but you get myself, our colleagues, so many of our
Yes.
colleagues are here to do is to make sure that we're really informed. Nobody is saying that you have to take up arms and go, revolt, but at least understand what kind of documentation do you need? What kind of, look, do I need to have some cash on hand? Do I need
Right.
to have an attorney? Luckily, I got Monique in my phone. I got a lot of attorneys in my phone. Do I, who's our family attorney? If we don't have an
Yes.
attorney, who's our legal hotline? You need to understand what's happening in the world because you need to know how this stuff is going to impact you. Okay, this program is going away. Am I benefiting from this program? Don't assume that everything that had been there in the past is going to continue to exist in the same way and that you're going to have access to it. And the time might be limited for you to do what you need to do to either hold on to what you got or get what's coming next.
Yeah, and a lot of that advice, there's a lot of good advice that you can get out there in those areas for free. There are lots
Mm-hmm.
of organizations that are trying to help the electorate become more informed in those issues. But you are so right, Reese, that being uninformed to me is what leads to the danger of misinformed and disinformed. And
Yeah.
that is how they've gotten in the position that they're in. They want us dumb. I've
Yes.
done whole shows about anti-intellectualism because at the root of autocrats and totalitarianism, they need dummies. They
Mm-hmm.
need people who are just walking around like zombies, go to work, come home, fix the dinner, go to bed, go to work, come home, kick the dog,
Mm-hmm.
fuss at the kids, go to bed again and again, year after year, like we don't have any power to
Yes.
change these things once we know about them. But you got to
Mm-hmm.
know about it first before you can exercise any amount of power. And that's why we always have you here. And I know you have to go be friends with Clay now. So
Yes.
I am going to let you go. But before I do, please tell everybody where they can find you, where you be, what your shows are, what your jobs are, your game shows. I mean, all of it.
Oh, yes. I'm so glad you mentioned it. So, Monique, I'm gonna have to come back and we're gonna have to play my Am I Tripping? I have a second edition that's coming out.
Yay.
It's in manufacturing right now. China, child. I'm working with
But
China.
did you hear me call it a game show?
I did check that out too. Okay, yes, we got to have a conversation about that too. But yeah, so that's coming out again soon. I'm gonna have pre-sales coming out soon, but not right now. So, but I'm glad you mentioned it. Reecie Colbert show on Sirius XM Urban View, Saturdays 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. It's a live call-in show. Monique is always welcome to come. And I'm assuming you're gonna be on my show sometime this month for Autism
Yes.
Awareness Month.
Yes.
And let's see, I'm on Clay Kane's show Tuesdays and Thursdays. Sirius XM Urban View Channel 126. I'm on Roland Show on Thursdays. And y'all can always find me in these internet streets, okay? At Reecie Colbert. My YouTube channel is Black Women Views. So thank you,
So
Monique.
Clay used to just be Thursdays, but now it's Tuesday and Thursday.
So I'm on his show Tuesdays and Thursdays. His show is
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, but
I
I'm
thought you just used to be on Thursdays. I didn't know you were on 2 times a week. Okay.
yes, honey. Starting last year, I'm on his show twice. Yes, girl, I've been on. Look, I'll be working. I'll be working all week. Okay. So yes, yes, yes. So yes, y'all follow me if you want to keep up with me. Monique, we always post each other. So I can't imagine that you're
Yeah.
the following one and not the other. But thank you, Monique, for letting me spend some time with you.
Well, and thank you for being here. You're welcome back anytime. I couldn't think of anybody I wanted to spend the time with more as we are in transition. Have a great day, Reese. See you
Thank you and
soon.
congratulations on launching
Thank
again.
you.
Bye.
Bye. You guys, as always, Reecie comes with, yes, the receipts, but the information, the knowledge that you need in order to live a more informed, which means not just surviving, but thriving life. Please follow her in all of the places and all of the spaces. You know, I try to bring you experts that you can trust. I know you can trust them because I do. So if they're flim flammy in any way, you will not see them here on Make It Make Sense or on any of the programming that we have here on the Monique Pressley channel. Thank you for joining us today. I hope that you will click the subscribe button, and I hope that you clicked the like button. And if you're watching now, it's not too late. Click the like button. We need the algo to be our friend so that you can see more and more of us. Thank you for supporting independent media and for being with us today. I hope that we helped you make it make sense. I will see you back here tomorrow, noon Eastern. Until then, stay safe out there.